France versus Iraq. The night Mbappé conquered the storm FIFA World Cup 2026. Intro. What happens when one of football's greatest stars collides with one of nature's most powerful forces? What happens when a World Cup match is interrupted by thunderstorms, lightning, and chaos? And what happens when, after nearly 2 hours of uncertainty, a superstar returns to the field and completely takes over the game? On a dramatic night in Philadelphia, the world witnessed all three. France defeated Iraq 3-0 in one of the most unusual matches of the FIFA World Cup 2026. But this wasn't just about the scoreline. This was a story about resilience, a story about focus, a story about how elite teams respond when everything around them is falling apart. And at the center of it all stood one man, Kylian Mbappé. Tonight we're breaking down the incredible France versus Iraq showdown, the historic weather delay that stunned fans around the world, and why this victory may have sent a terrifying message to every team hoping to stop France's march toward another World Cup title. Let's begin. Part 1. France arrive with huge expectations. Coming into the tournament, France were already among the favorites. The squad was packed with talent, world-class defenders, creative midfielders, explosive attackers. And leading the charge was Kylian Mbappé, already considered one of the most dangerous players on the planet. France had started their campaign strongly and knew that another victory would put them in an excellent position to secure qualification for the knockout rounds. Their opponents, Iraq, entered the match as underdogs. But World Cups have a long history of surprises. Every tournament produces moments nobody expects. And Iraq arrived determined to create one. The atmosphere inside Philadelphia Stadium was electric. Thousands of supporters packed the stands. French fans expected a dominant performance. Iraqi fans dreamed of a historic upset. Nobody knew they were about to witness one of the strangest matches of the tournament. Part 2. The early warning. From the opening whistle, France looked dangerous. Their movement was sharp. Their passing was quick. Their confidence was obvious. Iraq defended bravely and attempted to stay organized. But every time France attacked, the pressure increased. Then came the moment everyone expected, the moment when a superstar announced himself. In the 14th minute, Michael Ollis found Kylian Mbappé in space near the edge of the penalty area. For most players, that situation creates a half chance. For Mbappé, it's an invitation. One touch, a quick look at goal, and then a devastating finish. The ball flew beyond the goalkeeper and into the net.
France.
Iraq 0. The stadium erupted. French supporters celebrated. Mbappé celebrated. And Iraq suddenly faced a massive challenge. The goal wasn't just important because it gave France the lead. It showed exactly why Mbappé remains one of football's most feared weapons. He doesn't need multiple chances. He doesn't need prolonged possession. Give him a single opening, and he can change everything. Part 3. Iraq's resistance. Despite going behind, Iraq refused to surrender. That deserves recognition. Against one of the strongest teams in world football, many sides would have collapsed. Iraq didn't. They continued battling. They chased every loose ball. They challenged every attack. They searched for opportunities whenever France left space. Players like Zidane Iqbal showed determination and composure under pressure. The Iraqi defense worked tirelessly. Their goalkeeper made important interventions. For long periods, they prevented France from turning dominance into a flood of goals. The score remained only 1-0. And that meant the match was still alive. One counterattack, one set piece, one mistake. That's all Iraq needed. But then nature entered the game. Part 4. The storm arrived. As halftime approached, dark clouds gathered above Philadelphia. Rain intensified. Lightning appeared in the distance. Officials began monitoring conditions carefully. Then came the decision. The match would be suspended. What started as a normal halftime break suddenly became something completely different. Players left the field. Fans were instructed to seek shelter. Announcements echoed around the stadium. The weather situation was becoming serious. Thunderstorms and lightning made it unsafe to continue. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. then an hour, then almost 2 hours. Nobody knew exactly when football would return. The interruption created a completely new challenge. Momentum disappeared. Rhythm vanished. Concentration became difficult. Imagine preparing mentally for a World Cup match,
Imaginere aking halftime.
then being told to wait.
And wait.
And wait again. That's exactly what both teams experienced. For coaches, it became a psychological battle. How do you keep players focused? How do you maintain intensity? How do you restart a match after such a bizarre interruption? The answer would reveal a lot about both teams. Part 5. The difference between good teams and great teams. When the players finally returned, the atmosphere felt completely different. The crowd had endured hours of uncertainty. The field conditions had changed. The energy had changed. Everything felt strange. This is where elite teams often separate themselves from everyone else. Great teams adapt. Great teams stay focused. Great teams don't allow external circumstances to become excuses. France immediately looked like that kind of team. They returned with the same purpose, the same intensity, the same belief. Iraq, meanwhile, had to survive another wave of pressure. And, unfortunately for them, Mbappé was only getting started. Part 6. Mbappé's Masterclass. Just minutes after play resumed, France struck again. And once again, Mbappé was at the center of the action. The French captain sensed weakness. He sensed uncertainty. And he attacked. His movement was relentless. His pace was devastating. Every touch seemed dangerous. Every run stretched the Iraqi defense. Eventually, the pressure became too much. Mbappé found the net for a second time. The score became 2-0. At that moment, the match felt decided. Not because Iraq lacked courage, not because they stopped fighting, but because when a player of Mbappé's quality reaches that level, stopping him becomes almost impossible. The second goal transformed a difficult situation into an impossible one. France were now fully in control. Part 7. Dembélé delivers the final blow. With Iraq forced to take more risks, additional spaces began appearing. France exploited them brilliantly. The attacking combinations became smoother. The confidence grew. The pressure never stopped. Then came the third goal. Ousmane Dembélé added his name to the scoresheet. For Dembélé, it was a special moment. For France, it was confirmation. The score now read 3-0. Game over. The final whistle was still far away. But everyone inside the stadium knew the result was settled. France had weathered the storm.
Literally.
And now they were cruising toward victory. Part 8. Why this result matters. At first glance, some fans may simply see a routine win. France beat Iraq. Big deal. But the reality is far more significant. Championship teams are tested in unexpected ways. Sometimes they face elite opponents. Sometimes they face hostile crowds. Sometimes they face injuries. And sometimes they face thunderstorms and 2-hour delays. The ability to remain focused under unusual circumstances is a characteristic shared by many World Cup winners. France demonstrated that quality. They handled the interruption professionally. They returned stronger. And they finished the job. That should worry every remaining contender. Because talent alone doesn't win World Cups. Mental strength matters too. Part 9. What this means for Iraq. Despite the defeat, Iraq can take positives from this match. They competed on the biggest stage in football. They faced one of the strongest teams in the world. They showed determination and spirit. Most importantly, they gained valuable experience. International football is about growth. Every appearance matters. Every challenge teaches lessons. And while the scoreboard was painful, Iraq's players will learn from this night. Their journey doesn't end here. In many ways, it's only beginning. Part 10. The Mbappé question. Let's talk about the biggest story.
Kylian Mbappé.
How do you stop him? It's a question defenders have been asking for years. And so far, very few have discovered the answer. Against Iraq, he displayed everything that makes him special.
Speed.
Movement. Intelligence. Finishing. Leadership. Big players shine on big stages. And the World Cup remains football's biggest stage. Every tournament creates heroes. Every tournament produces iconic performances. Mbappé seems determined to create another chapter in his growing legend. The frightening reality for France's rivals? He may still be getting better. Part 11. The road ahead. With this victory, France strengthened their position in Group I and moved closer to their objective of winning the group. The result also secured their place in the knockout rounds. But tougher challenges are coming. The knockout rounds are unforgiving. One bad performance can end a dream. One mistake can send a favorite home.
France know that.
Their coaching staff knows that. Mbappé certainly knows that. That's why this match matters. Not because of the opponent, not because of the scoreline, but because France showed they can handle adversity. And World Cup champions always encounter adversity somewhere along the journey. Final thoughts. When fans look back at the 2026 World Cup, they may remember this match for the weather, the lightning, the delays, the uncertainty. But they should also remember something else. They should remember how France responded. They should remember how Mbappé seized control. And they should remember the message sent to the rest of the football world. Even when storms arrive, even when momentum disappears, even when the game is interrupted for hours, France remained dangerous. Very dangerous. The road to World Cup glory is still long. Many obstacles remain. Many giants stand in their way. But after a dramatic night in Philadelphia, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. If you want to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup, you may have to go through France, and if that's the case, you'll also have to find a way to stop Kylian Mbappé. Good luck with that.
Outro.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more World Cup analysis, geopolitical stories, and global sports documentaries. What did you think of France's performance? Can anyone stop Mbappé in this tournament? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.